When was the last time you took a real risk and trusted yourself? Sometimes opportunities present themselves in such strange ways and in such strange circumstances that our rational mind kicks in and we override the inner voice that is telling us to just leap, just do this seemingly crazy thing. How many times have you done that? Not leapt into crazy waters because fear or what others have said to you or worrying about being judged or criticized have overridden, or you've let them override your inner wisdom, which is telling you, for God's sake, leap with both feet. So 2 years ago today, it's pretty special something happened. I was on my way from Australia to Las Vegas to attend a function in Las Vegas for an event gathering people from all over the world. About 400 of us gathered for this particular event. Now, I had, up until that point, I had been participating in an online program with Mel Robbins. You may have heard of her. There were 2,000 of us around the world participating in the program. There was an opportunity for a get-together with Mel and her team in Las Vegas. Crazy, right? And there's no way I could go to Las Vegas from Hobart at the bottom of the world, travel to Las Vegas for a 3-hour event. That is insane. And my first reaction was, I can't possibly go. But it didn't leave me. I kept getting this little nagging feeling of I really have to go to this thing. I have to go to this thing. I'm going to regret it if I don't go. I will not regret going to this thing. So I made a list of all the rational reasons why I couldn't possibly go. I can't afford it. I can't leave my kids for a week. I can't leave my business for a week. I don't have the time. I don't have the money, yada, yada, yada. I made a list and I looked at that list for a bunch of days, trying to convince myself that I knew better than my inner voice trying to tell me that I really needed to get my ass to Las Vegas. And do you know what I did? I sat down one night and I thought, right, bugger this. I'm going to look at all of these excuses and find out whether or not they're true. So I researched what it would cost me to travel to Las Vegas, way cheaper than I had invented in my mind. I looked at my calendar and figured out my business was not going to die if I took a week off and went to the United States. I spoke to my husband and my kids. All 3 of those people encouraged me to go. At the end of the day, it was just, did I want to do this thing? And I knew my heart of hearts I would regret not going. Now, what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? No, what happened in Vegas isn't the point of the story. There are 2 points to the incredible things that eventuated as a result of me going to Vegas. The first was me challenging my own bullshit, because that's all it was. It was utter crap. All these excuses of why I couldn't go was my rational self trying to override my instincts, trying to tell me that no, there must be something dodgy with your thinking test. There's no valid reason why you could possibly go to Las Vegas. What came after is the rest of the story. So when I went to Las Vegas, I caught up with 400 people who I'd gotten to know, most of them, through this online program. What I found was I had something to offer. Now, this sounds a bit egotistical coming at this point in time, but I had just launched my podcast. I'd been participating in this particular group program, which involved us all sharing our thoughts and ideas online in a closed community together. When I got to Las Vegas, I had people coming up to me, repeating my own words back to me and sharing my stories back to me, and I realized there were things that I say that translate beyond my little community in Hobart in Tasmania, or there are ideas around business and ideas around promoting what you do that had resonance with people outside of my little bubble. It was the first time I'd realized that there was something to this thing that I was embarking upon of sharing my ideas on a social media platform. Now, not everyone's cup of tea, not worried about that, but it was the first time that I'd realized there were some people beyond my own circle who might actually have some interest in some of the things I have to say. That emboldened me to do more. That cheered me on, stirred me on, cheerled me to keep going with the podcast, to keep going with the social media work, and to keep going with the business coaching ideas that I was having at that time. Everything I do now came out of the courage and the confidence that I got from challenging my own bullshit and going to Las Vegas, one, being met with people who understood where I was coming from and wanted me to keep going, that was two, and then three, when I got back to Australia, having the confidence to challenge myself even further. That's how I ended up with an agent in New York, by being confident enough to start a conversation with somebody. A conversation that wasn't even about getting an agent. It was just a conversation that led to another conversation, and before you knew it, I had an agent in New York. Now, so much has happened in the last 2 years. Me traveling to New York and spending a month working on things over there that were going to influence what I do here in Australia. Starting my Inner Circle program, my Like a Boss program, which is, so fulfilling to me to work at that level with people so committed to building their own businesses up to way beyond what I do. The potential of the people in that group is just staggering. I may never have done that. I may never have had the confidence to sell a business. I may never have had the confidence to override my own fears about what other people might have to say about me. I may have been completely crippled by some of the events in my business and in my personal life that followed my trip to Las Vegas. Some people thought that my journey to Las Vegas was a sign of impending madness, that I had lost my bundle, was having a midlife crisis, and had thrown the baby out with the bathwater and run away to America. The reality was, it was stressful for my husband to sit for a week in the reality of me being on the other side of the world by myself. Obviously, he's protective of me and was worried, but he also cheered me on. He also tolerated that uncertainty because he could see that I was committed to the idea of doing something outside my comfort zone and building something beyond anything I'd imagined before. So the work I do now, the work I do in coaching other business owners, it comes from a place of having walked my own talk. I have absolutely identified some of the bullshit barriers that kept me back from achieving before. Challenging myself on stories I would tell myself about not having time to do certain things that were really important to me. Talking myself out of taking risks in my business, even though I knew that they were the right decision for my business at the time. Business owners and entrepreneurs, we're all about taking risks. We're all about doing the crazy. We're all about challenging the norm. And yes, we cop a lot of flack for that. We cop a lot of judgment, a lot of criticism, and people always have something to say. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast, right? Thankfully, 2 years ago, I had the guts, and I can say that now because I'm so grateful looking back, that I had the guts to stand up against what anyone might have thought and take this ridiculous journey to Las Vegas for a 3-hour event and be proud that I can now honestly say that my instincts are trustworthy. Because if I can't trust my instincts, how can I ask anybody else to trust that I know what I'm doing or that I know what I'm talking about? And that goes for you too. If you're going to constantly override your own instincts, how can you ask your clientele or your customer base or your audience to trust you if you don't trust yourself? So I think it's time to reflect on opportunities won and lost through opportunities to trust in your own instincts. Are there things you wish you'd listened to yourself more? Are there moments that you can remember where if only you had trusted yourself, things might have gone in an amazingly exciting direction for you? So the next time an opportunity presents itself to you and you can hear that inner voice going, do it, do it, do it, and then you hear that rational voice stepping in, I want you to just stop and take a breath. Listen to that inner wisdom. By all means, write down all the excuses you can come up with and then debunk them. Find out which ones are actually true. And the ones that are true, are they worth giving up on this amazing opportunity? Are they worth it? I have never once regretted my decision to go to Las Vegas, and I know, knowing what I know now in hindsight, I would have stayed stuck if I had let my excuses talk me out of not going, or talk me out of going, I should say, because so much came out of the courage that it took for me to make that decision to go. Be brave, take a risk, go for gold.